Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Luky. So I'm a UX researcher. I work for FlixBus. I've been working there for roughly 2 years now. And yeah, that's me. So I would like to get to know you better, maybe. Who are you? Are product owners here? I'm pretty sure most of you are. Only a few. I expect to be more. Okay. So what about UX researchers? Any UX researchers here? Yay! Okay. All right. And I'm pretty sure most of you are using FlixBus, right? Yeah. What about FlixTrain? You know about FlixTrain? Have you any of you used FlixTrain? Okay. Cool. How was it? Was not good. Compared to those ones?
Is there more than one?
Huh?
Is there more than one FlixTrain?
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'm very happy to be here to share with you my experiences at FlixBus. Yeah, I'm going to share this topic tonight about integrating UX research in agile teams. Could you maybe raise your hands if you have some relatable topic regarding this? Yay! I hope that it's going to be useful, what I'm going to share with you tonight. So a little bit background of me, also how I ended up in UX. So I joined FlixBus in early 2017. I was hired actually as a UI UX designer, and then I shifted my career and I volunteered myself to be a UX researcher because it's something that I like to really understand the holistic perspective of the product and also the users. Before I used to work as a visual designer. Most of my career I spent as a UI focus or visual design, so it's kind of a huge shift of mindset for me, because as a visual designer you focus more on the output of your design, but as a UX designer or researcher you focus more on the outcome or the impact of the solution or design. So at FlixBus, what I do as a UX researcher, I support the agile teams to collect insights from users, especially qualitative insights, to help them to be more confident to make decisions when it comes to product. And yeah, the new kids on the block. So I used to be the only UX researcher back then. I was serving this multiple agile teams in organization. But the good news is that we are growing, and now we are the team of 4 UX researchers. Carolina is here, by the way. Hi, Carolina. So yeah, and the thing is that we have this challenge at FlixBus still, because as I said before, UX research is still new. It's still 2 years old, and also especially this new team is only 6 months old, and we are not like a part of the team. We are a global team that is serving the needs of the teams. And yeah, how do we fit into this agile, especially how do we work closely with the agile teams? Before going into detail to answer that question, I would like to take you to the challenge that we had 2 years ago when I started as the first UX researcher. I tried to push things in the organization, and in order to do that, I'd like to really understand the status quo of the maturity of UX in the organization. So I look at this UX maturity stage, and from the left you see the absence of UX, where there is no UX person, and people are not aware of the value of UX. And going to the right is more user-centric, as UX is a part of a global strategy and is well integrated into the company. And 2 years ago, FlixBus was still in the second stage. Back then, there are not so many people are aware about the value of UX, especially investing the process of researching, and people usually come with already a solution instead of a problem statement. And also, many people said, like, yeah, let's do quick and dirty solution, let's do it this way and fix it later. So this kind of things are not really like valuing the UX process. And we were thinking to, of course, going towards through the third stage, which is the adopting UX is seen as a process. So people start to value UX and they realize that they need to invest a process there. Another challenge is that we are lacking of UX resources, especially here the black thing is the agile teams, and the UI UX designer and researcher they're outside of the team. They're not like really involved in the product development. We're kind of like an agency, so people come to us and then we do something for them, and then we don't know what happens with the design or the research. So in order to move forward into the next stage, we try to introduce this framework called user-centric design. And this framework is intended to create a product that tailored based on the user's needs. So there is the research as part of discovery, and then the design itself, the creating the prototype, and then the development, and then the measuring the impact through the A/B test, and then we iterate the process. So it doesn't stop there. So we need to always come back and iterate. And we enable this process in more or less 1.5 years to go into the no awareness into people adopting a process. So at first we create awareness in the organization. We conduct a lot of usability studies, and also we share a lot about UX internally in the team, also in the company in general. And then adopting the process through design sprint. So we try to do design sprint in order to ensure the collaboration, because we are outside of the team. So in this way we can show the process in the design sprint. And then scaling, we hire more UX people. Also, we have this UX tool that we can conduct remote tests, as many as often, which is really cool. And I'm very happy to share that the demand of the user research ever since has been skyrocketed. In 2017, we test only web application and mobile application. And then 2018, the request is growing from customer service, internal tool. We also test the travel experience, the offline product, the voice assistants as well. And 2019, we opened a collaboration with marketing and branding. So, talking about this stage, what are the challenges? So, as the UX researchers, as I said before, we are a global team. We're not part of the development team. So, in order to enable the research in the teams, we need to get the first touch point of the team, which is the product owner, and we need to somehow establish a relationship there and help in order to help us to enable research. But there have some concerns. I'm pretty sure you share this as well. How and when to do research. There's a process that is missing, that they're not aware and don't know how and when to do it. And also how fast, because it's usually people see UX research as something that is like a bottleneck, or maybe like blocking something because of taking so much time to do. Okay, so first, when to do research. The best time is to ask questions in each stage of product development during the strategizing, executing, and also assessing. For example, questions like, what do people need? How do people find stuff? Can people use the product? And those questions need to be asked in each step of the product development. And when it comes to sprint, when to do research, there are 4 things that we can do. We can test the past, test the previous sprint, implement the stories, and we can also support work that is currently under development. And then we can also test or validate the prototypes for the next sprint, and research and gather input from customers and stakeholders for future sprints. So these are the possibilities that we can do for research. And how fast? There are many ways of or methods to do research, but these are the 3 things that we usually do at FlixBus. So for guerrilla tests, for example, if we need to validate something really quick, we can just go to the bus station and ask customers there. It took us like 1 to 2 hours to do this and also come up with the results. And the remote studies with the UX tool. There are many possible ways to do research, like think out loud, usability tests, online surveys, card sorting, tree testing, click tests, so many possibilities. We usually do it in 2 to 3 days. And then if you have if you need more like in-depth study, we can also conduct on-site user labs where we invite our customers to our office in the lab environment, and we show the prototype and get their feedback from them. Usually from the preparation to the study and analyzing, it takes us 1 to 2 weeks. And how to do research. So as I said, we are a team of 4, and we kind of like split ourselves into domains. So one person, for example, in charge of 2 to 3 domains. Yeah. Do you have maybe some questions or anything that you would like to comment from? Yeah.
So you talked about validating previous stuff that you've done.
Yeah.
But how do you do your validation? Is it just A/B testing, or is there another way?
So A/B tests, yes. Sometimes A/B tests will show you only the numbers, you know, only the what.
Yeah.
But sometimes they don't know, why is it like this number is like really low, what's happening? And then we try to validate, or try to validate it through the qualitative insight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you do anything apart from A/B testing to try and validate?
Survey as well. We use the acceptance test survey. Usually before, it's something different. So you want to validate an idea, so we can also test it before, asking like how likely, or like the likelihood, like from 1 to 7 scale, and yeah.
Okay, and if an A/B test comes back saying that a certain thing you did was a certain way, will you ever go against these results?
Yeah, actually. So we sometimes, if the A/B test result is not as we expected, then we kind of like deprioritize it again and go with something else.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, okay, from the UX researcher point of view, there are this problem with the cross-functional collaboration, as we are not part of the team, and we are not sure how to collaborate with the teams and how to make research findings impactful. Because usually after we do research, we have the list of findings, and we're not sure if people really use it. So the cross-functional collaboration, what can we do? So based on our experience at FlixBus, we try to keep the rhythm of the communication with the team, and also realizing that we are not doing research alone, so we try to involve as many people in the research activity. This is an example of keeping the communication cadence, or the rhythm, with the teams. We start first with alignment with the roadmap. So we sit together with the PO and ask them about what their plans in the roadmap. And then we also do a check-in monthly check-in, to basically to check what we did in the past, what happens in the current development, and what do we need to plan for the next research. And also the user studies itself. Of course, like it really depends on the discussion. So at least once per quarter, we conduct user studies with them. And a UX workshop as well is something that we are trying to do at least twice a year. Researching ahead is not researching alone. So we try to involve as many people, as I said. During the kickoff, for example, we try to ask, do they have research questions that they would like to answer? And if they have hypotheses, or maybe some specific target group that we can recruit. And then during the study, as you see here, we try to involve people as an observer. So we stream the session, so some people in the other room can also see it. And during the analysis, we also do it together. After one session is done, we try to do the debrief, and we talk about the findings that we just experienced in the user lab. And then the recommendation is also very important, that we don't make our own recommendation, because maybe the team has like better understanding about the technical feasibilities, or the PO has like better ways to prioritize. So recommendation is something that we do, but not strongly suggested to them. This is a very powerful tool when it comes to analyzing the findings together. We use the Affinity Diagram. So what happens after the user lab is done, we try to debrief and discuss about the findings through the post-it. We put all the findings there and put them on the wall and categorize them based on what people like, what people didn't like, and what are missing. So people then see already like how at the severity level of the findings, and then can already start to think of a solution and really understand also the problem that we found during the test. So it looks like it's a lot of meetings, but actually it's not. It's more about communication. So we try to be as effective and to keep everyone in the loop. So yeah. And the last thing is how to make research findings more impactful. We try to report it as quickly and make it accessible to everyone in the company, and to create a powerful and minimal documentation. So what does it mean by quickly and make accessible? We try to create bullet points and then send to email or Slack. PowerPoint slides. We have UX findings Slack channel where we can put, share our findings there. And we share it also during the sprint reviews, sometimes stand-ups. And on a monthly basis, we have this product community that has this product story, product showcase thing that we can also present there. And we also write articles on the internet, our internet. And when it comes to powerful and minimal documentation, this is how we structure our report. We realize that our report is not going to be sent around only between the teams, but it's going to be read by the business owners, stakeholders, and even the C-levels. So we need to be sure that the report is understandable, and it has to be really state the problem or the takeaway from the finding. And the first thing is that you put the title, the big one, highlighting the main takeaway from the findings, and then also to put a screenshot there showing the context and quotes. Also, we also quote a lot of what users said during the session. Showing videos is also very powerful tool, so people can really see how the users struggle or what they really comment. And the chart is very powerful as well, because it can help you illustrate the problem in a scientific way. Yeah, so that's all more or less. And the main key takeaways for this, what I just shared, is like basically always ask questions in a stage of the product life cycle. So to talk together with your researcher to plan the next steps to the research, and keep the communication cadence between researcher, team, and stakeholders, like always involve them in all of the activities. And yeah, I don't have any cool quotes to close this talk. I just would like to share you, maybe this is something that could be useful if you really want to change like the perception of people that research is like very academic, is only PhD can do that. Also, it takes so much time, it's not actionable. So this is something that I would like to suggest you to read. Also, the Mixed Methods podcast is about research, about companies like conducting research. It's really cool, actually. Yeah. So thank you, and let's keep in touch. And questions?
Yes, I would like to know how you prioritize work between four of you.